Thank you for tuning in to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast, where each week we will be covering today's real estate news, tips, tricks, and trends in the Kansas City real estate market. Hosted by the Brasel Real Estate Group at RE/MAX Heritage, out of Blue Springs, Missouri. And here's today's host.
Hi, welcome to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast. Thank you for joining us today. We have Derek Schroeder with Homestead Inspections here with us and Deb Brasel with Motto Mortgage. So our first segment is going to be Market Mayhem, where we just kind of give you guys some stats on how many homes are available on the market. So we'll start with the city of Belton. We have half a month of inventory for homes under $250,000. So basically that means that any house that gets listed should be under contract within 2 weeks.
Then we have Green Valley. Any home under $250,000, we only have 0.41 month supply. So again, that's less than a half month supply in Green Valley.
And Grandview has a 0.27 month supply, so almost a quarter month supply of homes under $250,000 in Grandview.
And then here in Blue Springs, we have 0.31 month supply for all homes 250 and below.
Yeah, so that's getting lower than it was a couple weeks ago when we were at half a month of inventory. Now we're at about a third a month. Raytown under $250,000 has a 0.65 month of inventory, so a little bit over a half.
And then Lee Summit, we have 0.36 months supply. That's pretty low. So we need to start looking at getting more people to get your homes out there and get listed. This is perfect time. You're not going to have a lot of competition, so it's going to help you.
Yep. And then in Independence, there is 0.57 months of inventory under $257,000. So, yep. If you guys are thinking to sell your home, now's a great time. There's buyers out there looking. All right, it's time for our What the Heck segment, where we explain some real estate terms. And today we picked two terms. So the first one is going to be escrow account. And we have Deb here with Motto Mortgage that can tell us what the escrow account is and what gets put into it.
Okay, so an escrow account for a mortgage is basically going to be setting up for your taxes and your insurance for your home. And so the only way to get around actually setting up an escrow account is if you put down 20% on a conventional loan. All the other loans, pretty much so you're done, you have to have one. So when they do that, they're going to set up for 15 months of insurance at closing. 12 months will actually be sent to the insurance company to pay a full 12 months in advance. 3 months will be actually held for your escrow on your insurance. And then we will also set up 3 months of escrow for taxes. So what happens, your loan servicer holds that money and then they disperse it at the end of the year when it's due, when taxes are due, or when a year from now insurance is due again. So what happens is when your payment goes up or down, it's because your taxes or your insurance has fluctuated. So that's how they appropriately do it. So if you underpaid and your insurance went up, your taxes went up, then you will have an escrow shortage. And so you have to make it up in your next year's payments, and they divide it out over 12 payments. So the actual servicer on your loan is going to take care of that. So there's nothing you need to do. You just want to keep an eye on it. And it actually is your money, because when you put that money down at closing, at the time that you either refi or you sell, there's going to be an escrow fund sitting there that wasn't used, and you would get that back in your payoff. So that is what an escrow fund is.
Perfect. Yeah. And I know most clients prefer to have an escrow account because then they don't have to worry about the taxes and the insurance, and it's automatically taken every month.
I agree. A lot of people, even if they do put down more than 20% on a conventional loan, most will opt to do that just because of the money management. I mean, who wants to get to the end of the year and you're like, oh, wow, did I budget properly? And then you've got at Christmas this big old tax bill going out. And so it's a lot more manageable to have one.
Yep. Cool. And then the other word we were going to explain is just NAR, NAR, and it stands for the National Association of Realtors. So, and we kind of wanted to talk about that just because there's some things on the buyer bites that we're going to refer to on them. So that's it for our What the Heck segment. If you guys have any questions, just comment below. All right, it's time for our Buyer Bite segment. And we wanted to talk about NAR. Came out with a statistic saying that 30% of homes that go under contract are actually coming back to the market and falling apart for several different reasons. So, that's a high number. It's national, so it's across the whole United States. But we are seeing it here a lot in the KC metro area. So, Dan, what are your thoughts on that?
I think we're starting to see so many of these houses that are getting under contract falling apart because right now you have a lot of inventory that's low. Also, you have so many buyers out there that are just competing against so many other buyers. If it's a hot home right now in our market, especially, you're noticing that there's multiple offers on that house. And people are having to, go outside their comfort zone to really, get these homes. They're having to maybe accept the house as is, and that what that means is you're accepting the house as it sits with all its benefits and all its flaws. You're not going to be asking for any type of resolution or fixes, once you do your inspection. If you do inspections, that's another thing that people are doing. They're waiving their inspection rights to be able to just lock up these homes, because right now it's so hard to get a home. And then, they have their 10-day inspection period. They get in, they start looking at the home, they find out a little bit more about it, and who knows, maybe they see another house on the market that just hit the market that they like better, so they're canceling. Or maybe they're doing their inspections, finding that there's all these flaws. They don't want to accept the house with these flaws at the price, so they're backing out. Because right now you're seeing a lot of homes in certain areas that are being listed at the top of the market, and these are imperfect homes. These are homes that have issues. They're not move-in ready. Especially when you're looking at homes at 150 to 125,000 and under. That's where you're starting to see these more of these issues. And again, it's because lack of inventory, and you're getting some buyer remorse. And I think that's why we're having so many issues.
Yeah. What kind of things are you seeing come up on inspections that might be issues that buyers are deciding not to purchase?
Yeah, a lot of times it's kind of like Dan was saying, it's something that's a surprise. They've walked through the house, maybe have been in there for 30 minutes, on their first or second showing of the house. Mm-hmm. And again, you're looking at, is in the right school district, is it the right price point, stuff like that. And then when you're in there for the home inspection, you're seeing things you just didn't see before. We're seeing pretty bad foundations quite a few times here recently. And again, it's just because people are putting houses on the market because they need to unload them or need to sell them, and they're not move-in ready. And one thing that we try to remind our clients is, give that seller the opportunity to repair it. If it's something you would be comfortable with once the repair is done, mm-hmm. That's obviously completely up to the buyer. Mm-hmm. But we'll been seeing some roofs that need some repair. We've had a lot of heavy weather, wind, rain come through here recently.
Yeah.
So leaky basements, shingles that are missing, stuff like that. And again, just because something is a defect or not working right doesn't mean it can't be fixed. So having the patience, I think, is something that buyers are struggling with a little bit. Just figuring out exactly what they're comfortable with. If they thought that it was a perfect house when they first looked at it, and now they're realizing that maybe it's not as perfect as I thought it was. Sometimes a home inspection can be very eye-opening for people.
Yeah, agreed. Which we always recommend to get a home inspection.
Absolutely. Especially, even Dan was talking about that some people will waive on a as-is property, mm-hmm. but we would strongly suggest not doing that.
Right.
Because you still have the opportunity, most times, you still have the opportunity to not purchase the house. So if you get in there and there's a bad foundation or a bad roof, you do have that opportunity most times to back out.
Yeah.
Getting the termite inspection done. That's another thing that, even if it's as is and they're not going to pay for termites, you still want to have it treated if you decide purchasing that house is what you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. What are you seeing as far as maybe financing getting denied, and that might be the reason why some of them are falling through?
I think when that happens, it's not a good job up front of pre-qualifying the borrower. That's the only thing I can really tell you. There's a few things that we don't do up front because you just don't normally go out there and get a verification of employment or a verification of rent prior to giving an approval. I mean, that's just way too much when you see everything and you can ask all your questions. But that's probably the only thing I see be a problem is, it could be in those aspects where maybe there's a 30-day late they didn't know about. A lot of times you don't even have to verify the rent. So there's a few of those little verification things that can happen. Sometimes it could even be the appraisal. Like I had one recently. Yeah. It was a manufactured home, and they wanted another comp that was closer in that would compare to the price of the home, or they wanted to drop the price down a little bit, which we found another comparable. Everything's fine, but appraisals sometimes can do that. I had one.
All right, it's time for Seller Sound Off. So we're going to talk about getting your home ready for the market. With 30% of homes coming back on the market after going under contract, we want to just help you guys kind of have an idea of what you can do so that you're not part of that 30%. And if it does happen, it's not that big of a deal. You can get it back under contract pretty quickly in this market. But, if you can avoid it, that's good for you and the buyers also. So, getting your home ready. One thing I'm noticing is a lot of deferred maintenance. So deferred maintenance, it causes some problems and it can get really expensive. Like wood rot is something, and we'll let Derek talk a little bit about some deferred maintenance you're seeing maybe a lot while you're out on inspections.
Yeah, the wood rot is a pretty common one. I mean, we use wood siding for a lot of our exteriors around here, and just with weather, rain, we get a lot of sun beating down. It's just going to deteriorate that paint and any kind of sealant we have on there. So keeping up the caulking on nail holes, any gaps or cracks that you might have. I mean, water's just looking for an entry point.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Another one that we're seeing, especially as we're changing seasons here, is just deferred maintenance on our HVAC systems. We should have someone looking at them at least once a year, but preferably at the beginning of each season. So then they can get that air conditioner ready for summer, and then come winter they can get the furnace ready for winter. But if you're keeping that up, it's not a surprise when I come in and do the inspection and I say, well, your inducer fan's making a weird noise. You probably haven't been to your basement to listen to your fan kick on for your furnace, or listen to your compressor clunk around outside. You're just doing normal life. But if you have that maintenance done, then hopefully some of that stuff can be caught ahead of time, and then doesn't scare the buyer when they're out there. Obviously, we have to report everything we see and everything we see on the day of the inspection. So if you can get some of those things checked off the list with just a little bit of preventative maintenance, that will definitely help the list be smaller and kind of put the buyer at a little bit more ease too.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Sometimes things come up where the appraiser requires that the repairs get done before the lender will lend on the house, and usually the seller will come back to the buyer will come back to the seller and say, hey, this needs to be done in order for us to get the loan, and in most cases the seller will do the work. So what are some things you're seeing on appraisals coming up?
Sure. I've seen a few lately where it's just subject to is what it'll say. It'll give value and it'll say subject to these repairs. And so I've seen recently like some soffits hanging like on overhangs.
Okay.
The little soffit's got some gaps.
Uh-huh.
And they needed to fix that. The biggest culprit, honestly, is peeling paint. So usually when your house is getting listed, your agent's going to know if it's going to pass FHA or VA, so they can tell you all these different ways that your house would qualify for a loan. And that's the biggest thing. I've seen some people actually have a VA listing, but there was like peeling paint everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I've also seen it where, and this is common because we had a drought, now we have all this rain, but the dirt is moving away from the foundation. Simple fix, it's like you pile the dirt up and fan it out. I mean, and then it fixes that because then it's not like a big gap. Those are usually the things. Now, I will tell you, when they do have to go back out, they're going to charge our client usually about $125 to go back out.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends, maybe to $150, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay.
So I don't care, even if it's just like something that's a dollar fix. If they note it on there, then 9 times out of 10, they've got to go back out and make sure it got fixed.
Yeah.
So I would really look that over good before you have the appraiser out, just to not have a slowdown in your loan, the loan going through, or just the aggravation of having to have them come back out and the expense.
Yeah. Yep. You have anything to add on maintenance?
Yeah, and a good experienced agent, when you're out there looking to buy, is going to be able to walk through a home and be able to notice certain things that, could pop up. So they're going to know if, those things might appear on an appraisal, and be able to, give you some insight if that's going to happen possibly. Again, an insight's just one appraiser's view of that home, but when you're getting your home ready to hit the market, there's a couple things you should do. One of the first things that we recommend is that you get a pre-inspection. That way you can get with like a home inspector. They can come over, they can check your home. They're not going to probably do a full in-depth, hardcore inspection like they would for a buyer, but they're going to be able to give you the bullet points of what you should be looking at before you list. If there's peeling paint, like you said, there's going to be these things that you can take care of yourself, or that you might have to hire a professional to do. So you want to know what condition your home is, and also at the same time, you want to have that information so you're not on guard, or just waiting during that inspection period, kind of like expecting the worst.
Yeah,
you want to know ahead of
come
time. Yeah. And again, you're going to be able to find out what can you do yourself, what do you got to pay someone to do. You can start anticipating those costs and getting your house ready, because you want to be ready, especially right now. Right now is one of the best times to list your home that we've probably seen in our lifetime. And you still want to look at your home as though somebody else is. You want to walk outside, turn around, look at your house, and look at the curb appeal. That's the first thing people are going to see. How does your house measure up to your neighbors? Because that's what people are going to notice. They're going to walk up, they're going to look directly at your house, and they're going to look at the neighborhood. They're going to see if your home is conforming, to the neighborhood. You want it to be the prettiest one. That way you get the most offers and the most money for your investment, because every home is an investment. So you kind of want to remember those things.
Yep, absolutely. So if you guys have any questions about any of that we talked about, just comment below. And thank you so much for joining us today at the Brasel Real Estate Podcast. And thank you to Derek at Homestead Inspection and Deb with Motto Mortgage for joining us. And this is Dan Harwood and Alicia Harwood here with Remax Heritage in Blue Springs. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Brasel Real Estate Broadcast with the Brasel Real Estate Groups at Remax Heritage. If you like our show and would like to keep up with our upcoming episodes, please like our Facebook page, the Brasel Real Estate Group, where we go live every Wednesday. Or you can find us on YouTube at the Brasel Real Estate Group page. To find out more about our real estate services, you can find us at www.braselrealestategroup.com or contact us at 816-897-5151. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day. Our friends at Homestead Inspection Company have been serving the Kansas City metro area for over 27 years. Homestead's inspectors can help you take control of a real estate transaction by helping you identify potential problems, survey the property overall condition, consider possible repairs and upgrades, help discover environmental hazards, take measure of your investment decision, and experience confidence and peace of mind during negotiations. Homestead covers inspections for seller pre-inspections, buyer home inspections, multifamily, and commercial property inspections. Contact Homestead today at www.homestead-inspection.com or 816-833-1090 for all your inspection needs. If you're in the market to find a home, refinance your existing home, or thinking about a reverse mortgage, contact Deb Brasel at Motto Mortgage Heritage. Deb's an award-winning mortgage broker who's been in the mortgage business for almost 20 years. Contact Deb today to get pre-approved at 816-678-9283. Deb Brasel is a licensed mortgage broker, NMLS number 299821. Motto Mortgage Heritage Office can be located at 1900 Northwest South Outer Road, Suite 209, Blue Springs, Missouri, 64015. Office NMLS number 1720438. Each office is independently owned, operated, and licensed.